Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to the scientific session. The first scientific session by Dr. Shankar, Senior Medical Officer and Regulatory Affairs Consultant, Bangalore. Sir is going to talk on the topic Dravya Guna and its scope in pharmaceutical industry. As a part of ritual, I invite Dr. Seema, internee, Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya Hubli, to formally introduce our guest speaker to the audience.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Seema Lingapnavar from Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Hubballi. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our guest lecturer, Dr. Ravi Shankar sir, on this auspicious occasion. So, getting into the introduction, Dr. Ravi Shankar sir is a genial and a caring physician. Sir's graduation in BMS was from NTR University of Health Sciences, Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh in 1998. Sir did his MD in Dravya Guna in Ayurveda from ALN Ayurveda Medical College, Koppa, Chikmagalur, Karnataka in 2003. Sir has earned his PG diploma in clinical research and post-graduation in Ayurvedic pharmacology. Sir is a dedicated and experienced physician, has successfully treated many patients with different clinical conditions since 2003 as a physician. Sir also has strong pharmaceutical, industrial, clinical research and academic background. Sir's knowledge and expertise into the industry is well respected and proven into the field of drug development, manufacturing, packaging and designing, marketing, sales and logistics, collectively said to be providing all the required services under one roof to set up herbal industry anywhere. Currently, Sir is guiding the Ayurvedic industry, herbal cosmetic industry, as well as functional food and nutraceutical industry as a senior medical advisor and a regulatory affairs consultant with his more than 1.5 decades domain expertise. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Seema.
Seema. Sir, you can start the session.
Yeah, it's already 20 minutes late. Thank you, Seema. And thanks for the organizers and especially my dearest friend, Dr. Manjunath Nayak, for inviting me for this particular talk on the Dravya Guna and in pharmaceutical industry. And first of all, I'm more than happy to see my senior sir, Dr. Prasanna Savanur sir, on the screen so that he is being the mentor of this particular entire day's activity. So, Seema has briefed me about my educational background and my expertise in the domain of Ayurvedic pharma industry. But in fact, it is an immense pleasure for me also to be a part of this particular discussion. Uh, Basically, a webinar, a scientific uh, forum. See, the topic which has been given for me is Dravyaguna and its role in pharmaceutical industry. So rather, I just would like a small privilege to correct the title because Dravya is the immense or integral part of the pharmaceutical industry. So there is no point without Dravya, there is no industry. So I just would like to convert the topic as the role of Dravyaguna or a person who has studied Dravyaguna or a pharmacology post graduation or as a doctor. So as an Ayurvedic doctor, what would be your roles and responsibilities in the pharmaceutical industry? So probably I just would like to throw a light on this particular domain so that it would be helpful for the young budding doctors and the postgraduates, those who are into pursuing the career in Ayurvedic pharmaceutical industry. See, it is a vast science. I don't know whether I can do justice to speak on this particular domain in a half an hour or 40 minutes time. So I rather more give preference to a doubts or the query answering session so that I can definitely guide or help people so that if they have any issues or any understanding problems or any clarifications related to the drug industry, that I would like to more be happy enough to discuss that particular question answer session. So I request all the interested audiences, if at all you have any such a queries, you just make a note of it. After end of this session, we will discuss your questions and I if whatever the knowledge if I have, if I'm able to answer, that would be more happy. If I don't know, I will just refer and get clarity for you. So just I would like to comprehensively explain about the different verticals which are available in the pharmaceutical industry for an Ayurvedic doctor. So how an Ayurvedic doctor is going to play a role in a pharmaceutical industry. So the 360-degree approach or the multidimensional approach, I will tell. So the interested candidate can pursue in any of one direction so that he can excel in his services. So before going to that, so as Dr. Seema has mentioned me that I have close to 1.5 decade experience in the pharmaceutical industry. So I have completed my post graduation in the year 2003 from Copa College, where Dr. Savanur sir was my super senior. And in 2003, after my completion of my post graduation, I worked 3 years in academics. And from 2006 onwards, I had joined the pharmaceutical industry, and I worked close to six pharmaceutical companies in 15 years, and I worked in different capacities and different roles. So starting from the roles and responsibilities from a different Ayurvedic doctor. So now I just would like to throw a light of my own journey with respect to where I worked, how it is going to be helpful. So basically, I started my career as a clinical research professionalist. See, a clinical research profession. So the role of Ayurvedic doctor in a pharmaceutical industry. See, Ayurveda and especially Dravyaguna, if you consider the pharmacology. So to become a good practitioner, to become a very good successful physician, you should be a great pharmacologist. That means to say you are supposed to know about Dravya. You are supposed to know about the substance. Then only you are going to excel with that Dravya as a clinical physician. So a clinical pharmacology is the very basic prerequisite. So I started my career as a clinical pharmacologist, and where I was working as a clinical research associate. So there is a scope for Ayurvedic doctor in the pharmaceutical industry, especially with related to clinical research or preclinical research. So basically in this domain, if you consider, so this will come as a part of evaluation of the substances. So evaluation of a drug. So if you consider one formulation, one recipe, if I need to evaluate the safety and efficacy of one particular substance, so you should have an expertise in clinical pharmacology. So in this clinical pharmacology, basically you would be doing a research of the particular new product or new chemical entity or new recipe or a new blend for its safety and efficacy. This is one domain where people can pursue and can opt for to become a scientist. So there probably you can start conceptualizing the recipe, or you can be like writing a protocol for that particular preclinical research or a clinical research, or you can execute that particular clinical research, or you can be a part of pharmacovigilance. That is also a clinical pharmacology activity of the pharmaceutical industry. So there are a lot of industries, I mean a lot of organizations, those who will train this particular clinical pharmacology courses, and they will recruit in different Ayurvedic companies or different pharmaceutical companies, where the Ayurvedic physician will definitely contribute, learn and earn through the role of a clinical practitioner. So basically here Ayurvedic doctor, while designing a protocol, he should be very careful, and he should be keen and try to put his efforts to draft a research protocol. For example, simple thing, you have seen the COVID-19 pandemic. So I was associated with one of the clinical research in COVID-19, which has been done in Bangalore. So at that particular point of time, so the industry seeks the different Ayurvedic professionals, those who have expertise in clinical research activity. So while writing a protocol for this particular thing, we need to be a interdepartmental cross-functional team, so that there will be a pharmacologist, there will be a the medical practitioners, and there will be a research scientist also. So we need to ensure that whatever the disease which is happening inside the pathophysiology or the pathophysiology, and how our substances are going to help that, and we need to draw a protocol so that how my pharmaceutical agent is helping in this particular activity. The simple example I can say, I was very happy be a part of this particular thing is that probably you might have heard this word called cytokine storm. So the cytokine storm is nothing but an array of immunomodulatory, immune function activity. So most of the times, majority of the people will say Ayurvedic drugs are immune boosters and all. So immune boosting is one particular activity. So say boosting immunity is always not sufficient. So immune system should be in a modulating. That means to say whenever it is going to in a suppressive state, it needs to be brought up, and whenever it is a hyperimmune autoimmune conditions, we need to suppress it. But what exactly is happening in this case of the viral infections, there will be cytokine storm. So that cytokine storm is nothing but an array of an immune system. So by Ayurvedic drugs, so that immunomodulation is happening and that cytokine storm is reducing and the immune system is becoming to normal. So this is one particular clinical finding which we were able to link with the Ayurvedic Vyadik Shamatva. So when a person, a pharmacologist knows this terminology and when he understands the immunology or any given substance, I'm just giving a latest example of this. So if you have that attribute or that knowledge, so easily you can be a part of the clinical trial industry and you can contribute your science to the society by claiming that how exactly this drug is going to help with respective to the mechanism of action or methodology of action. That is one particular role in industry as an for an Ayurvedic doctor with respective to the clinical pharmacology. And an Ayurvedic doctor also can enter into industry as a drug researcher or a formulator. So a drug discovery. So if a doctor, Ayurvedic doctor, having a vast knowledge about the various herbs, recipes, ingredients, disease conditions, definitely he can be a contributor into the herbal industry by giving insights of the drugs into a new ingredient with respect to the discovery, the drug discovery team. So consider, so there is a need for the market that they want to come up with a new drug, new concept or new formulation. So preferably they will be screening the Ayurvedic ingredients which can go into one particular disease. So this also should require an expertise in understanding the disease, understanding the properties of drugs. So basically we can easily, you consider that we can shortlist a drug based on the ganas, the core classification of Ayurvedic drugs, which have been mentioned in Acharya's like Charakokta Ganas or Sushrutokta Ganas or Vagbhata Ganas or the Dravya classification and all. But nowadays, to the modern need and trend, so how I can filter those drugs, how I can screen those ingredients for expecting one particular therapeutic indication. So Ayurvedic doctor definitely can contribute in this particular domain of shortlisting the herbal ingredients from the core Ayurvedic textbooks with the relevance, rationality to the new disease target, what you are, what the industry is looking. So this is one important domain. So here you can classify the drugs into different categories, the topical applications or the internal preparations. So different kind of things which you can consider because there are different kind of dosage forms are available in Ayurveda, as you are aware. That is the Panchavida Kashaya Kalpanas and Upakalpanas. So any dosage form, whether it may be as far as Kashaya, Kata, or the modern dosage form like a tablet or a capsule, or external dosage forms like a the lapas, the nowadays the modern lapas like creams or the serums or the lotions, all those things can be incorporated with the traditional Ayurvedic ingredients based on the disease condition by a quality input from a qualified, knowledgeable, educated Ayurvedic doctor will suggest an ingredient which can go into a recipe. So there is a scope for Ayurvedic doctor with respect to ingredient selection in the drug discovery process. And the next area where Ayurvedic doctor's role will be there in Ayurvedic industry is this the good laboratory practices and the quality aspects of the formulations, whatever has been developed. So here also, so Ayurvedic doctor can be a certified auditor, which he can assess the quality of the medicaments which are being manufactured irrespective whether it may be a classical Ayurvedic preparation or a proprietary Ayurvedic preparation or a personal care cosmetic product or it may be a health promoter. But how you are going to assess the quality of the Ayurvedic formulation or quality of the Ayurvedic material? So whenever a doctor who is having a complete knowledge about this particular Vaishya Kalpana or the quality of this particular the recipe, he can be an auditor in a pharmaceutical industry to certify whether the drug is fit or unfit, starting from the raw material till to the finished product. Because as mentioned by acharyas or even the drug regulatory authorities, whatever the material which I am going to take to prepare a combination or to prepare a recipe, that material should be certified for analytical parameters to be fit to consume or to be fit to use. The simple amla powder, if you take, what is the percentage of assay of that amla? What is the percentage ash content of that particular thing? What is the active markers present in amla? What is the percentage of tannins present in that amla? That same amla powder, because the Ayurveda is very wide and it is having too much vulnerabilities because of its natural availability, because it is being natural, so it can tend to exposed to different kind of environmental factors and tend to have a different kind of quality parameters. So the similar kind of rice, if you consider, rice is available 10 rupee kg to 60 rupee per kg. It all depends on the quality of the material what you are going to purchase. The similarly, the Ayurvedic ingredients are need to be verified for their utmost quality in order to get the desired therapeutic benefit. Because nowadays, as a practitioner, even I'm a practitioner, so we used to find the difference of the recipes which we were using earlier 10 years ago and now. The same Trivrut Lehya, if you consider, the one which was able to give the necessary vegas with respect to Virechana, now we are unable to get that particular same Trivrut Lehya, the same kind of therapeutic efficacy with respect to the Virechana. That means to say, I am not changed, my patient is not changed. I am practicing the same. But probably I need to look into the raw material by which the manufacturer is procuring and sourcing. So that means to say somewhere it is being compromised. So being a strict regulatory auditor, so you can have contain control on the raw materials which are going into the recipe. And similarly in the finished product also. So the finished product quality specifications or guideline are being frameworked from the regulatory authorities. So if you would like to become a quality inspector in pharmaceutical industry, you need to ensure that what are all the finished product specifications which are set up and need to compare, analyze, and pass this particular material, go for marketing and all. So that is the role of good laboratory practice or good, the quality control, quality assurance with respect to the formulation. That is one area where well, there is a scope for Ayurvedic doctor to enter and support the industry. And there is another core area where Ayurvedic doctor can enter into the herbal industry as a chief technical person, as a qualified technical person with respect to the drug regulations. So the drug regulations are the stipulated guidelines, as the academics are having a guidelines which are laid down by farmer CCIM. So where under that particular stipulated guidelines, the organization should run. But similarly, in this case of Ayurvedic industry, which should run with a guideline laid by Drugs and Cosmetics Act rules and 1940 and 1945 Act. This is the central government act wherein it has given all the definitions and sub-definitions and explanations and protocols and processes to follow this particular industry. So if you want to enter into a manufacturing industry, what are all the prerequisites and what are the different type of licenses available and what are all the different type of product categories you can make? The simple. So there are broadly two categories of Ayurvedic products which are being licensed by Drugs and Cosmetics Act. One is the Ayurvedic classical medicine, where you're going to apply for a manufacturing license for to prepare a Chyawanprash or Ashwagandha Churna or Trifala Churna, which are told as per classical. But if you want to make a classical preparation into a patent proprietary with your own name, those are called branded medicaments or proprietary medicines. So that require a different set of documentation and the study parameters and stability parameters and the formulation feasibility. So along with that data, you can get that particular license. So in a drug regulations, you need to categorize the product where it is going to be utilized, and you also would like to screen the ingredient whether it is coming and falling under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act purview, because there are certain exotic ingredients which are being used even though in herbs, which is not available in the drug regulation. So you have to find out that particular this thing. So as a drug regulation officer, before screening any Ayurvedic ingredients, he should ensure that the active ingredients which are being considered as a part of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. And so there are different kind of dosage forms like personal care products which are coming in Ayurvedic segment. Those are called Saundarya Prasadats, or so the different categories like skin care, hair care, body care. So for those products also we need to satisfy certain rules and regulations which are supposed to be followed as laid down by the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. And in this Drugs and Cosmetics Act, apart from these particular proprietary medicines and cosmetics, there is another concept called as herbal extracts or Ganasatwa. So Ganasatwa or herbal extracts, these are nothing but the phytochemical extracts. So there is another scope for Ayurvedic physicians to enter into the domain of making an Ayurvedic herbal extracts and manufacturer and supplier. So these particular herbal extracts which manufactured by an industry can be obtained or taken by the different industries. They will be using those ingredients in their products. And other category in Ayurvedic proprietary medicine is the Ayurvedic health promoters. So basically Ayurvedic health promoters are the ingredients which are being given in a positive condition, positive health promotion condition. That mean to say where not only a disease condition, for the preventive aspect also these ingredients can be used. This is the thin difference between the phyto drugs as well as the nutraceutical drugs. So that is related to the Ayurvedic the act which we come across whenever there are issues with the food industry or the Ayurvedic industry or the nutraceutical industry. All these three things will merge and stand up or stuck up in one particular point of time. So where it all depends on the manufacturer to select or to choose which route he is supposed to or he is planning or intended to market that. That is a different. So there also, as an Ayurvedic doctor, if you have expertise of all these ingredients and regulations and laws, definitely you can contribute to the industry and you can show your excellence in the subject of pharmacology or Dravya Guna with respect to the pharmaceutical industry. So this is one domain where the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, not only the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, the domestic regulatory affairs, even if you have an expertise in international regulations, so you can contribute to your organization or your pharmaceutical company if at all you want to export your Ayurvedic products to overseas. So this piece of information can be achieved when you have a thorough knowledge in industrial pharma regulations. This is one particular like area or a vertical where Ayurvedic doctors' role can be definitely helpful in the industry. And apart from that, there is another important vertical or another important angle where Ayurvedic doctor can definitely contribute to this pharmaceutical industry. The first, the foremost thing, that is dravya, that is the pharmaceutical substance, that is the drug, raw material. If I would like to go more precisely into this particular topic, so the raw materials, the herbs, raw herbs, in the sense that mean to say it is the the active ingredient. So here, what is the role of Ayurvedic doctor with respect to the raw material? So the raw materials, as you are very well aware, that these are natural and 80% are plant origin. So what is a role? So there is a practice called GACP. That means to say as good agricultural and cultivational practices. So even in Samhitas, you can find out the Aushadha Sangrahana Kala that was in mentioned in ancient days, which is restricted to one particular area. But now we need to serve this Ayurvedic medicine across the globe. So we need to have a standard guidelines which are being formulated or prepared based on the concepts which are being told by acharyas. So in a role of good agricultural cultivational practices, so an Ayurvedic doctor can look into insights that where there is a possibility to enter into the industry. So as a raw material supplier, or when if he is able to identify the the gray areas in raw material supplies where it is not being properly available, the conservation and the biodiversity issues and the propagation and the cultivational and the economically storaging activities. So all these five different broad domains. So every domain is a bigger one. I don't want to go very deep into this particular biodiversity or endangered plant or above other or substitute plants or conservation of medicinal plants or cultivation of medicinal plants, because that is a vast science which requires a knowledge of agriculture as well as utility with respect to the medicinal plants benefit and all. So now I can tell an example that we are planning to cultivate some the moringa leaves, that is the shigru, that is having a huge demand in west. So in order to do that, so I should do a groundwork or a knowledge on that particular herb. So how I can definitely contribute this particular thing, and how I can value addition to what we call as quality by design. Because I used to discuss regularly with your teacher, Dr. Manjunath Naik, who is also having good interest, amount of interest in Ayurvedic industry is with respect to the personal care cosmetic products, as well as he also interested in farming, contract farming and all. So we are doing a couple of projects, basically with respect to the moringa leaves and all. So the different kind of leaves, because it is not the same, all material will get the same price. So the quality material will definitely be accepted by majority of the pharmaceutical companies, and they are ready to pay high for that particular quality material. So how to achieve that particular quality material, and we need to identify which material is having more benefit, more value for less vulnerability. So this is the basically the business art, which will come only when you have a comprehensive approach about the particular agricultural and cultivational practices. So this is one area where definitely people can definitely contribute and involve and make need meet the needs of the agricultural industry demands. And there is another area of late recently emerged with respect to for a doctor who is having a good skills in communication in terms of written, verbal. So if you are a good verbal communication, you can be a part of the marketing, in the sense techno marketing. It is called as medical services or scientific affairs. So you can speak about a product, you can speak about a disease, you can influence the people by telling about the goodness of Ayurveda. I'm not telling to speak about a brand, to speak about a company. That will become a marketing strategy. I'm going to be a part of Ayurveda world. So if you are very strong in communications, verbal communications, you can communicate to the society. You can become an influencer by speaking a topic of Ayurvedic doctor, especially with related to the industry, because our industry, majority of the prescriptions, if you go like patyas. So if you if you start speaking on this particular patyas or apatyas or the diets or the lifestyle, that would become a good domain for to become a success. But if you are good in communicating through written skills, you can become a blogger, you can become a content writer, you can become a medical writer for scientific articles, advertisements, label claims. All those things are there with respect to the techno marketing or the scientific services with respect to this particular content writing activity for Ayurvedic doctors. And there is a emerging scope for pharmacovigilance also, which is being driven by the government of India in order to evaluate the safety reports of the herbs or the herbal preparations. So the students, those who are having interest, you can pursue in that particular domain also. So I think I'm overboarding. So I just would like to conclude my the talk on this particular topic. So now I invite questions from the people, those who have any clarifications or the doubts or any concerns with related to this particular. I am I'm happy and readily to serve you or to clarify you if I know. Thank you, the organizers, and thanks, Dr. Manjunath, and thanks the other people.
Thank you, sir. Here is a question by Dr. Manjunath, sir. Is it enough UG certificate to enter in industry? If not enough, what to do next course?
Is it enough to
Only UG
enter into?
certificate is enough, or we should do any course for entering the industry?
Ha. See, basically here the important thing is that the attitude. I mean to say, if a person is having an attitude of learning and the eligibility to become that particular domain, the UG degree is sufficient. So even doing a PC is not a mandatory, but if you do, that is an extra advantage. So to say answer, UG is sufficient with a intuition to learn things.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Say the job role with respect to CST customer support team and how one can enter as a part-time schedule or full-time job with help of Wi-Fi.
Okay, please come again.
Say the job role with respect to CST customer support team.
Uh,
CST.
CST is customer training or is a
Customer support team.
okay customer support team. Basically, the job profile will be with respect to the drug being used or a cosmetic product being used. It all depends on the kind of the pharmaceutical industry is supporting. For example, if he's working in a pharmaceutical, pharma product industry, so you need to address the consumer how to take the medicine, what are all the possible the side effects or the adverse effects or the probable effects which is anticipating, and how the pharmacovigilance is the basic thing. So he need to follow thoroughly the patient that after taking this particular medicament, if he is anticipating any desirable effects, he need to list out and add to the industry.
So next question. How one can enter as a part-time schedule and full-time job in CST?
Part-time and full-time. So it all depends. Basically, part-time is something like a need basis. So full-time is something that if you leave all the things and enter into that business, it all depends on the opportunity and availability and inclination of time. So in a big company, obviously part-timers will not be having a role. In a small company, even if you want to work a full-time, there is no role. So it all depends on the pros and cons or the situation weighing on that particular scenario. But there is a role for both.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Now I call Seema for the vote of thanks.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Ravi Shankar sir for sharing his valuable knowledge and giving us such a valuable session. We feel blessed to be a part of this session, sir. We thank you, sir, and one and all for giving us such a valuable time and making this session successful. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.